talk about world maritime history in a place where everything is already more or less seen through, gone through at such an old place. I am first of all talking about world maritime history. Why world maritime history? If you look at the globe, we call it Earth. Actually, there is more water than Earth. 1/3 of globe is covered by Earth and rest of it is water. So rightly, instead of Earth, it should be called ocean actually, because it's full of water only. And therefore, the people who lived in land always had a fascination for water. And to reach water and to cross water to see what is on the other side, to explore, has been always pestering the mind of the man. So man has always been trying to conquer sea, somehow or other. While he may not have done it, more or less, the sea has been under the command of man from the beginning. Now, when we talk about world maritime history, I am now, of course, giving a special reference to India because maritime history starts with Red Sea and Indian Ocean. The whole world map, if you see, Red Sea is right in the where you cannot miss it anywhere. It's a connecting link between Europe and Asia, and it is a connecting link between the water to Indian Ocean from almost north. When this maritime history first started from sailing between Red Sea and Indian Ocean. So from Red Sea, people started moving out to Indian Ocean to see what is beyond, because they were always inquisitive. In Pharaonic era, that is the earliest time, that is starting from 3000 BC, during the Pharaonic era, Egypt witnessed many aspects of progress, and Egypt was the center of civilization almost. Everything has been witnessed by Egypt. During the Pharaonic era, Egypt witnessed many aspects of progress and renaissance in all fields. A Pharaonic seaport was discovered in 1976. A seaport which was available in Pharaonic side, which was discovered in 1976, and present-day site of Masa Gavasis seem to be having the vestiges of the port, of that particular port. Large vessels built in Coptos were transported in ports and assembled here. Coptos is in the from Alexandria. From Alexandria, people came from Red Sea into Alexandria. From Alexandria by road, and they came down the Nile like this. Nile became a slow-moving river, so it became very useful for people to use. Present-day Mesa Gavasis seem to be having vestiges of port here. This is seemed to be having that vestiges. Large vessels built in Coptos were transported in ports and assembled here. Red Sea is about 2,300 kilometers long, 2,300 kilometers long, and varies in width from 30 kilometers at the Bab al-Mandeb to 355 kilometers between the coasts of Eritrea and Saudi Arabia. Eritrea is the most important area of the whole this thing. As you know, Eritrea itself means red. Now you can see even in our own Tamil, Rattam is red. Eritrea is red. Eritrea is this place. And because of Eritrea, and this sea became to be known as Red Sea. Now Nile, in the world over, it is the rivers that supported civilization, and all civilization grew around the rivers only. So first it was slow-flowing, ideal for transportation, Nile was. And then from earlier times, Egyptians built boats for transportation. Remains of boats found at Abydos, a place called Abydos, were about 25 meters long and 2 or 3 meters wide and about centimeters deep, having 30 rowers. 30 rowers could go in that. 30 rowers could sit in that bed. That means it is quite a big thing. Thick planks were stitched together, actually lashed together by rope. And even today, you will find Manila boats are all stitched together by Manila rope. They are not nailed or anything like that. Seems to be between them caulked with reeds, and this was the area of civilization in the beginning in our area. Cairo, down here, Nile is flowing slow Nile, and all the Red Sea ports are here. The Indus was another river which was very well known, and it had supported civilization long before this thing. The difference between Indus civilization and other civilization, Indus civilization from the beginning has been an urban in culture. That means they had cities, they had roads, built places for people to move in, things like that. See, this is the Indus civilization, cities. And time is about 2500 to 1700 BC, though the southern sites may have lasted later into secondary thing. You can see all those things, This has been discussed, most discussed picture is this one. And this particular thing in front of this unicorn or whatever it happens, because it has got one horn, they call it unicorn. But Airavadam didn't agree with that unicorn. He called this as a filter for somarasam. Indian maritime history begins in the 3rd millennium BC, when inhabitants of the Indus Valley initiated maritime trading contact with Mesopotamia. Indians were present in Alexandria, and the foreign traders continued to live in India long after the fall of the Roman Empire. This is one misconcept a lot of people had. Romans came and lived in long after the foreign traders finished with trading. All the traders, when settled back in India, they continued to live in India after the fall of Roman Empire. The Indian commercial connection with Southeast Asia proved vital to the merchants of Arabia and Persia during 7th and 8th century. Now, Periplus of the Erythraean Sea is the first recorded statement of any sailor who has stated how he went from where to where. I'll take my... Thank you. This Periplus of the Erythraean Sea was written by an ordinary Portuguese sailor, so it is not of any scholarly writing, it is an ordinary spoken language writing. And the text derives from a Byzantine 10th century manuscript in minuscule hand, kept in the University Library of Heidelberg. Another copy of it dating from 14th or 15th century in the British Museum. 2 copies only are available. One is in Heidelberg, one is in British Museum. A copy edited by Sigmund Galen of Prague was first published in modern edition in 1533 which was full of errors, yet served later editions for 3 centuries until the rediscovery of the 10th century Heidelberg manuscript. It's almost same, there was very little difference, so there was nothing to lose. Historical analysis published by Schaff in 1912 fixes the date of the text to 60 AD. It's very difficult to fix a date of any incident or any function during a long period. But somebody fixed it at 60 AD in one single year. It's not an easy thing. This was done in 1912, and Schaff's fixing the date to a single year is considered remarkable by modern standards, because he has done such a close investigation. All subsequent researchers have agreed the date of 60 AD. Schaff provides a historical analysis as to the text's original authorship as well. In all, there are 66 paragraphs in this periplus. Material describing ports starting from Egyptian port of Mussel Harbour. It ends with the Bengal area of the sea. Starting from Mussel Harbour in Egyptian port, coming all the way down the Indian Ocean, right around the India, stops at Bengal area. Paragraph 38 onwards is all about Indian coast, starting from identifying the river Indus as Sindhus. Indus as Sindhus. The route in periplus. This is the route in periplus. From Europe through this Red Sea, coming, through Mediterranean, coming into the Red Sea, and moving into Indian ports. You see, as early as 1st century, all these ports were recognized, Indian West Coast ports and some other East Coast ports. So that was, and sailing was throughout here nicely. And there was a reason why that sailing was between this area, because this was the most easy area to sail, and northeast monsoon and southwest monsoon helped the sailing in both directions. Ports mentioned in this periplus starts with Mussel Harbour, which is shown here as Myers Hormuz. Bernice is also seen here. You can see Mussel Harbour, which is shown here as Myers Hormuz, you can see here, Myers Hormuz. This is Mussel Harbour. Bernice is also seen here. So these two ports were very well known during that time. Route from Alexandria to Myers Hormuz or Bernice. From Alexandria to Juliopolis, 2 miles of land route. And Juliopolis to Coptos by the Nile, 333 miles by river. In 12 days they used to sail. From Coptos by camels to either Myers Hormuz or to Bernice. Coptos to Myers Hormuz or Bernice is by camels, and from then on by sea to Mussoorie. And from here they came straight to Mussoorie. Mussoorie means not today's Mussoorie, the old Mussoorie in the Kerala coast at the Periyar river end. Strabo, who lived in 64 BC, says merchants of Alexandria are sailing with fleets by way of Nile and the Arabian Gulf and as far as India. These regions have become far better known to us today than to our predecessors because of continuous sailing. I learned that as many as 120 vessels were sailing from Myers Hormuz to India every year. 120, I'm talking about the year, almost 2000 years back. So many sails, so many ships sailing means, that means they must have been very, this thing. And Pliny the Elder who is often quoted for various things, says, if the wind called Hippolytus, Hippolytus is the monsoon. Hippolytus, monsoon is named Hippolytus because Hippolytus, a sailor, first discovered it. Southwest monsoon happens to be blowing. It is possible to arrive in 40 days at the nearest market in India, Mussiris by name. Mussiri was the nearest this thing. Mussiris was in East Kerala coast. Another port and much more convenient one is that which lies in the territory of the people called Niyasendi or Barake, that is either Kottayam or Vakkarai by name. Here, King Pandian used to reign, dwelling at a considerable distance from the market in the interior at a city known as Madeira. Actually, Majura he is writing as Madeira. Important para in Pliny is, travelers set sail from India on their return to Europe at the beginning of the Egyptian month of Taibia, which is our December, or at all events before the 6th day of Egyptian month Meshir, the same as our January. If they do this, they can go and return in the same year. You watch these names clearly. One is Taibia, Egyptian month Taibia, and next month is Meshir. Exactly 15 days different from Tai of Tamil Nadu and Masi of Tamil Nadu. Taibia and Meshir represent Tai and Masi. The same of our January, same in our time also. Only 15 days difference if you see, Tai and Masi. If they can go and return in the same year. So Taibia and Meshir became very important. Romans initiated voyages from Egypt to India, and Alexandria became the greatest commercial center of the world. Alexandria became greatest central commercial center. It was a leading emporium for aromatic and pungent spices of India to the markets of Greece and Roman Empire. All the food that the English were taking were all bland food, they had no taste, nothing. Once they found out the spices from India, they found all these pungent spices of India. They started using it, and therefore it became very popular there to the markets of Greece and Roman Empire. Roman trade with India was extensive for more than 3 centuries and then began to decline, reviving somewhat in the 5th century AD, but declining again in the 6th. There are a lot of reasons told why the Roman trade was so good and suddenly declined. There were many reasons, but the main reason was that trade itself changed its pattern. Things changed, and they were able to get more things from many places. A potshed inscription, this is an important finding. In 1999 to 2003, the University of Southampton conducted excavations at the site of Qasr al-Qadim, prompted by the idea that the site was not the minor port of Leucas Layman, as thought by previous excavators from the University of Chicago, but the important site of Myos Hormuz. So they did not know this could have been Myos Hormuz. If you see this pot was found in Alexandria. You can see it is a clearly Indian-made pot. And what is written in this area, in Tamil Brahmi, is Panai Uri. Panai Uri. The Tamil Brahmi script says, been dated to 1st century BC, the inscription reads Panai Uri, that is, pots suspended in a rope net. Pots are suspended in rope net. Below Ptolemy's of the Huns, at a distance of about 3,000 stadia, there is Adulis. They used palm olive to anchor at the very head of the bay by an island called Diodorus, east of Horn of Africa. Now you see, this is a very important thing. This is Horn of Africa, HOA, Horn of Africa, African men. This is of course Arabian, this thing. And this Mussel Harbour, now it is then it was Myers Thomas, and they came down and up to here. And here this particular port, Diodorus, is there. You see, there is one important thing about that is, this port is, Diodorus is Socotra. Diodorus, what is now, it's now known as Socotra. Socotra is a pure Sanskrit form, Sukadara. When you go through a place where you rest for a while, it is called Sukadara. You know, where you, on the way you rest for a while. Diodorus is Sukadara. Huntingford remarks that the name Socotra derived from the Sanskrit Sukadara, island of bliss. In 2001, a group of Belgian speleologists are the specialists who specializes themselves in cave theory, how caves are built, how caves are located and things like that. Speleologists of the Socotra Coast project made a spectacular discovery. Deep inside a huge cave, there's a huge cave, it's one of the longest caves in Hawk Cave. Deep inside a huge cave, they came across large number of inscriptions, drawings, and archaeological objects which were left by sailors who visited the island between 1st century BC and the 6th century AD. Ordinary sailors. Because what is written is not in a scholarly language, in ordinary spoken language. The majority of the texts written in the Indian Brahmi and one in Kharosthi script. Mostly Indian Brahmi, otherwise it is Kharosthi script. Dr. Ingo Strong says from Lausanne University in Switzerland, we found in January 2006 an inscription in Kharosthi, another Indian script which was used only in the northwest ancient India, the modern Pakistan and in Central Asia. So people went from this place to that caves. The whole corpus of Indian inscription found in Hawk Cave is an impressive witness of Socotra's cultural past. From the text written in several handwritings, we got unique picture of the art of writing as practiced not by specialists like the case of many Indian religious inscriptions, but by ordinary people in ordinary language. Ingolstadt and Hawk Cave. A professor of Sanskrit and Buddhist studies in Lausanne University, he says Hawk Cave is 10 kilometer long. A cave 10 kilometer long. So you can find such a lot of place there, and has 193 Indian epigraphs written by 117 different persons. So whoever went there wrote something there. But one Ravahaka has written the most number of this thing. Except one in Kharosthi, rest are in Western Brahmi script from Western India. River Sindhus or Indus, the greatest of all rivers that flow into the Erythraean Sea, bringing down enormous volume of water, so that a long way out at sea, before reaching this country, the water of the ocean is fresh from it. This is an important thing. Sailors like us, we will know that what we do is, in ebbing time in Calcutta, when we were want of water in those days, steamships we were going, we were always wanting fresh water. We used to wait for ebbing, and then river Hooghly will be flowing into the sea, and you will be surprised to see a shaft of fresh water flowing into the sea. Right round it is salt water, this is fresh, absolutely fresh water. So we take our ship there and take suction from that shaft so that we get fresh water. Just imagine, so much of salt water right in the center is fresh water, and we take fresh water from that. Okay. So the water remains fresh for a long distance. The river has 7 mouths, that is Indus River, very shallow and marshy, so that they can navigable, except the one in the middle, at which by shore is the market town Barbaricum. Barbaricum was a city known for a long time and everywhere quoted, but appears to be the modern Karachi place. Beyond the Gulf of Baraka is that of Barigaza and the coast of country of Araika, which is the beginning of the kingdom of Nambanas and of the all India. The coast is called Sairastrin. It is a fertile country. Actually, Sairastrin is Saurashtra. Vienna Papyrus document. The most important thing is, when I was doing this research, I came across some professors and I found about these Musiris papers, and I had the chance of looking at one of that in original. A document discovered in Egypt in 1980 and first published in 1985 known as Musiris Papyrus is now preserved in Vienna Museum. Musiris Papyrus. Papyrus means it's a bark of the tree, papyrus, in which it is written. Now from where the word paper comes. It also estimates the values of goods and a 25% tax for the same items. The Egyptian merchant gave this agreement to the Roman government as a guarantee for a loan, and that is how the agreement survived through ages. 2000 years an agreement has survived because this agreement was given as the guarantee for a loan from the government, and it was kept with the Egyptian government. It was not lost. Even now it is available, the document. Stephen Sidebotham and findings. Stephen Sidebotham is a professor. Fortunately, I had a chance of meeting him and interacting with him for this thing, especially when I was researching on this. He says, this is the paper, you see. This is the paper in which it is, the paper is document. It's written, it is maintained. This is Stephen Sidebotham. And ancient marketing and this sale route, this book is available. The co-directors of excavations at Burney Cave, Dr. Stephen Sidebotham, a historian at the University of Delaware, and Dr. Willeke Vendrick, an archaeologist at the University of California at Los Angeles, say that the research showed that the maritime trade route between India and Egypt in antiquity appeared to be even more productive and lasted longer than scholars thought. It continued, it never stopped. That means it was very useful and continued. Also, it was not an overwhelmingly Roman enterprise, as it had been generally assumed. The artifacts at the site indicated that the ships might have been built in India and were probably crewed by Indians. So, ships, those days itself, were built in India and taken there and sailed by, and were probably crewed by Indians also at that time. We talk today of globalism as if it were the latest thing. Now we talk about globalism and trade between countries, all those things. But it was there already. The trade was going on in antiquity at a scale and scope that is truly impressive. That is what Vendrick says. Sidebotham's book throws some light on the trade aspects as well. Ptolemaic documents suggest, that is Ptolemy Ptolemaic documents suggested that after expenses, the skipper got 50% of the profit, and this can show why such hazardous trips were undertaken. Such trips were undertaken which was quite risky because the money involved was quite a lot. 50% the skipper got, so naturally the skipper will take any risk. Vienna's Papyrus document, a contract says the cargo cost was 6.93 million drachmas. 6.93 million drachmas, they used to, in Egypt you can buy 5 towns together, that much amount money. The cargo was what a cargo. This is the beauty of everything. Is the cargo was Gangetic nerd. Gangetic nerd. In Tamil it is called vetiver. This was the so costly thing those days going out. The cargo was Gangetic nerd, used for flavoring wine, anointing the dead for perfumes, cooking, etc. Ivory and fabric on board a ship called Hemopolen from Missouri. Even the name of the ship is still available. Contract drawn at Missouri. Well, Carson says, the researcher, from the contract, if we take the words Kata Musrain to mean for a voyage to Missouri, Kata Musrain means for a voyage to Missouri. The original contract was drawn up at Missouri. Either Ego or Tu or both may well have been members of the foreign colony resident here. The contract is drawn in Missouri between trader from Alexandria and Missouri, and the two people who were there, Ego and Tu, both have been members of the foreign colony resident here, because even now, even our Sangam literature says there were a lot of foreigners living in India. Extract from para 949, there are imported into this market town wine, Italian preferred, copper, tin and lead, etc. And for the king brought very costly vessels of silver, singing boys, beautiful maidens for the harem and fine wines. They used to bring boys and beautiful maidens for the harem and fine wines. And Sangam poetry confirms this. Yavanar nankalam tanda tangamal teral. Teral means wine. Ponsai punaigalattu endinalum mondodi mahalir maduppa mahilsirandu. See, our kings, they became too well off, so they became lazy. Once they become lazy, they have enjoyed in all kind of life. So what they want there, Yavanar nankalam, from what Yavanas got the beautiful pots, Tan Kamal Theral wine, Ponsai Punaigalattu Yendi, Nalum Mundudi Mahalarum Paduppa Mahildaran. These girls came and singing around and giving him this wine. They were so happy drinking it. And that is how they spoiled the complete country. Beyond this, there is another place called Komari, that is Kanyakumari, at which are the Cape of Komari and harbour. Hitherto come those men who wish to consecrate themselves for the rest of their lives and bathe and dwell in celibacy, and women also do the same. For it is told that the goddess once dwelt here and bathed. We talk about Kanyakumari as a goddess mentioned 2000 years before. It is told that a goddess once dwelt here and bathed, Kanyakumari. Tamils ruled the eastern seaboard as well. Cholas, Rajaraja Chola, Rajendra Chola extended the Chola kingdom towards the east. Chola navies invaded and conquered Srivijaya in the Malay archipelago. Cholas extended their influence to China and Southeast Asia, and by the end of 9th century had developed extensive maritime and commercial activity. Cholas, the world over, Cholas had the extensive maritime and commercial activity. Cholas in 11th century, sea exploits and regions under them, The Cholas conquered many countries due to their strong navy. They went from here, Malaya archipelago. This is because of this archipelago, they were very happy. Sri Vijaya Empire is there. So they conquered Sri Vijaya Empire so that this Malaccan Straits could be safe for them to sail and then go up to China. So this was established then long back. Rajendra Chola's expedition, during his overseas consequence, he went from here and parts of Malay Peninsula and Indonesian archipelago. Through the conquest of the Sri Vijaya Empire, Cholas secured the sea trade road to China. This Sri Vijaya Empire was here, controlling this Malaccan Strait. So the Cholas won over them, and in fact they took over the entire area, and this Malaccan Strait became under them so that they can have their easy sailing to China. Those days merchant guilds were mainly doing all the business. It was not under government control. Merchants of southern India formed trade guilds in order to organize and expand their trading activities. They themselves formed merchant guilds. Trade guilds between channels through which Indian culture got exported to others. It is that trade channels through which not only goods but culture of India also got transported. From 11th century to 13th century, South Indian trade in Southeast Asia was dominated by Cholas and Pallavas in the previous centuries, and guilds not under the control of the government of the day. Guilds were not under the control of government of the day. And various merchant guilds were known as Anju Annam, Padinan Vishayattar, Manikramam, Ainutruvar, Nana Desis. Nana Desis are from different countries. These were the various merchant guilds they were controlling. Merchant guilds helped foreigners. These merchant guilds helped foreigners to establish their trade. In Nagapatnam, there existed a brick tower, in the beginning of last century only it was destroyed. A brick tower called Chinese Pagoda. This was demolished by the Jesuit mission in 1867 only. It was there till then. Jesuit mission destroyed it. There were some Chinese traders interacting with Tamil merchants here, and they were allowed to have their pagoda, their own praying place. There were some Buddhist relics which were taken away by the art enthusiasts, especially in Rockefeller Museum, they are all there. In the pedestal of an image of Buddha, there were some letters. They were found to be Tamil script. It is in Rockefeller Museum today. In that pedestal, there are some letters. It is found to be Tamil script actually. They were exhibited in Tokyo in 1992 as collection of Mr. and Mrs. Rockefeller. It was established that the artifacts were from Nagapatnam. From Nagapatnam it has gone. In this pedestal there is Tamil writing. He can't see here clearly, but in Tamil Brahmi, it is a written thing. And now we have to see what are available outside India to see that our trade was going on from a long time continuously. So you can see it right from 3rd century to 13th century continuously. Evidences are available to see trade was going on. One, oldest is 3rd or 4th century is Thailand, Perumpattan Kal. In this place, they found a stone. In Tamil Brahmi, it was written Perum Pattan Kal. Perum Pattan Kal means Pattan means Achari. Perum Pattan means head Achari. His skull. That means the goldsmith who can rub his this thing, find out whether it is good gold or not. Second is Takuvapa, 9th century tank under Manigramathar. So Manigramathar, after establishing their own trade, they built a huge tank for the benefit of the people of the place. And third is 11th century Boris, Masithengal, feast by captain. Captain has to pay feast when the ship visits, and it is called Masithengal. Masi is the month actually. It is Masi pay they call it. I don't know why it was named that way. Then it is 12th or 13th century Tamarat, gift to Brahmanas by Dhamma Senapati. Dhamma Senapati is a trader. He gave a gift to Brahmanas to stay there, and that was that. And then it was Vishnu Temple Hall in Pagan. And last, a very interesting place is Quan Shu in China. So even today it is available. That is this one, Quan Shu. Recently Olympics were also held there. Earliest evidence of goldsmith in 3rd century BC is this, Perum Pattan Kal. Perum Pattan Kal. So this is earliest evidence of goldsmith of 3rd century CE. Found in Krabi province of Thailand, now kept in Thom Pra Kru Ethan Sankra Museum, Krabi, Thailand, and Tamil Brahmi. It is written Perum Pattan Kal. Quan Shu inscription is most important. This is found in Quan Shu. When the stone was taken, it was broken in 2 pieces. And they found together, when they put, half of it was written in Chinese script and half of it they did not know what language it was. 1st century also nobody knew what language it was, till one T.S. Krishnamurti found out that it was actually Tamil. And what is written there in that Hara Swastistri Sahabdam 1203, that is 1281. Any Swastistri Sahabdam, we have to add 80, nearly 80 years to the original number. சித்திரை நாள் ஸ்ரீ சைக்கா கான் திருமேனிக்கு நன்றாக உடையார் திருக்காணீஸ்வரமுடைய நாயனாயரை ஏறி அருளப் பண்ணினார் சம்பந்தப் பெருமாள் ஆன தவச்சக்கரவர்த்திகள் சைக்கான் கான் பரமானப்படி. It's a simple thing, but it shows so much of historical facts. In so-and-so year, சித்திரை மாதம், ஸ்ரீ சைக்கா கான் திருமேனிக்கு, சைக்கா கான் is the king of China, grandson of Kubla Khan. நன்றாக உடையார் திருக்காணீஸ்வரமுடைய நாயனாரை. These fellows went from here and built a Shiva temple. And what the Shiva was called there? Tirukkan Ishwar. For everything in High Court Ishwar, in Calcutta there is, in High Court that Shiva's name is High Court Ishwar, you know. So like that, everywhere the name is given straight away by them. So here, Tirukkanishwar. So the Kanishwar is, Khan gave the land, so he was Shiva became Kanishwar. The நாயனாரை ஏறி அருளப் பண்ணினார் சம்பந்த பெருமாளான தவச்சக்கரவர்த்திகள் சைக்கா கான் பிரமாணப்படி means according to his order. The merchants of southern India formed the trade guilds in order to organize and expand their trading activities. Trade guilds became channels through which Indian culture got exported. From 11th century to 13th century, South Indian trade in Southeast Asia was dominated by Cholas. And mariners and merchants controlled the sea trade. Reasons for the sea trade, why the sea route started. In the Middle Ages, The spice trade between India and Silk Route from China were backbone of the economy. When Constantinople fell in 1453, this route was disrupted. Then Europeans had to find sea route. Portuguese explored and Bartholomew Dias discovered Cape of Good Hope in 1488. Vasco da Gama discovered the route to India and landed in Calicut in 1498. Christopher Columbus discovered American coast. All these things happened during Age of Discovery. This period is called Age of Discovery. When the problem started between Portuguese and Spain, a papal bull was issued. When Pope issues an order, it is called papal bull. The papal bull was issued by Pope Alexander VI, granted to Spain all the lands to the west and south of a pole to pole. Land or earth or this globe did not belong to Pope, but he granted it. Half of it he granted to Spain, half of it to somebody else. All lands west and south. See, that is how they own the lands actually. Thus the world was divided between Spain and Portugal. Portuguese, both are Catholics. Portuguese explored the east. This is the Azores. The search for trade routes with Ferdinand Magellan was the first one to go around. Of course, he couldn't complete. Age of Discovery, 16th century. And Vasco da Gama landed in Kozhikode. It was received by Zamarin. The world was never same again. Origin of trading companies. Then, after the Portuguese landed here, trading companies started taking over. Opportunity for English to venture. The company conducted separate voyages. The company won trading concession from Mughal Empire. On 22nd August 1639, Cogan and Day, two merchants of the East India Company, signed an agreement to set up a factory in Madras and were offered a piece of land 500 yards long in the coast where the Kuvam flows into the sea by Nayak, who was in charge of it. The English thus entered India and soon spread themselves all over. Sorry. So, the whole thing is trade controlled the countries and the trade controlled even the rulers, and rulers had to be under the control of the merchants so that their countries can prosper. So, in other words, the whole civilization depends on not on building buildings or something like that, but trade between people. And slowly when the trade becomes better, they achieve something and they also take lands from them. Thank you all very much for this chance given to me. Especially my thanks